Welcome to another video review here at our Optics Trade YouTube channel, and as you have probably seen, today I'm going to talk about the Pulsar Core thermal imaging scope, or basically a thermal imaging clip-on device. This one is the latest, third generation, and that means that it has an acronym of BW, so black and white core, and the model in particular which we have here today is the model 50, FXQ50 black and white. You probably know that, or you have seen videos from the previous two generations, of course. So the first generation was somewhere there in 2015, 2014. It featured a sensor with 25 micron pixel size, and it was not available on all the markets. It was really big news. It was the first, I would say, readily available and mass-produced thermal clip-on the market. And Pulsar made its name with it, because in 2015, Pulsar was still not the market leader, and it was not the biggest company in the world for thermal optics for civil users like it is now. So at that time, the core was quite a big news. As you probably know, the Pulsar itself, it's a company which has a headquarters in Lithuania, in EU. They also have production facilities in Belarus, from where they originate. And they are currently the market leader in thermal optics. So their clip-on device, this core, is probably one of the most sold clip-on, thermal clip-on in Europe. What's the reason for it? The reason is that in European Union, in different countries, you have different legislations and different laws which night vision and which thermal optics can be used. And in some countries, all thermal optics which can be attached to a weapon are forbidden, like in Slovenia, for instance. And there are some other countries also. So this is the reason why the core devices, they're classified as thermal imaging scopes, not telescopic sights. So not like a rifle scope, but a normal scope. It can be used as a normal monocular, but it can also be clipped on to a normal daytime classical optics. So in some countries where this is allowed, you're able to transform your normal daytime rifle scope into a thermal rifle scope with this clip-on attachment. You also have an advantage that your shooting position doesn't change, your eye relief stays really long, like with normal optics. And some people prefer clip-on devices compared to thermal imaging rifle scopes due to these reasons, especially if they are using some Magnum or really hard-kicking calibers. So this is the third generation of the core series. The first generation was, I would say, in design almost the same. It only featured a sensor with 25 micron pixel size. Then the second generation, which came out in 2017, and which sold incredibly well since 2017. It featured a sensor which had smaller pixels, so 17 microns, and due to this reason the image quality was better, because you were able to see much finer details with a sensor which has smaller pixels. And this third generation, the only thing what really changed compared to the second generation is the display, which is now black and white and not green anymore. Everything else stayed the same, and what also changed is that the price was decreased dramatically. This device has a market price of 3,150 euros, which is astonishingly affordable for a thermal imaging clip-on. All the competitors, also Pulsar until now, all the devices were 4,000 euros or more. Also 6,000 euros was not an unexpected price for a device from this category. Now in this device with the 3,000 euros, it's by far the most affordable one, at least in this moment. I do think that in the future competitors will come out with similar devices. So if you can see, the housing is made out of plastic, but a really durable one. Some parts are made out of metal. Normally the bayonet is made out of metal. The front assembly of the objective lens is made out of metal. But what we experienced in the last, I would say, 4 years of selling cores, they're really, really robust and durable. We have users who are using them on really hard-kicking calibers. They're rated all the way to 375 Holland. We even have a co-worker in our company which uses core on 338 Lapua Magnum without a problem. So they're really extremely durable and they can withstand anything. The environmental protection of these devices is rated as IPX7, so they're fully waterproof. You're even able to submerge them. And they work all the way down to minus 25 degrees Celsius, and on the upper side all the way to 50 degrees Celsius. The dimensions are 19 centimeters of length and approximately 6 centimeters in height and in width. So a really compact device and really light, only 400 grams. So it's really, really light. It doesn't affect your optic in any way. It's one of the lightest devices on the market. It's powered by 2 batteries CR123A, which go inside here. But you also get this additional insert, which you can put, like this. And then you're able to plug in the cable and charge this device or power this device from an external battery source or a power bank. You can see it features a normal jack for Pulsar batteries. I think they're APS5 and APS3 with a long cable, 1.5 meter. You just plug the cable in and store the battery in your pocket, or with a micro USB where you can then charge the device with all standard power banks. In general, we know that in the last couple of years, Pulsar really advanced in terms of batteries and solutions how to power their thermal and digital night vision optics. Unfortunately, this is still an older generation of device which features normal batteries. There's batteries which you can buy everywhere, but normally they run out of energy a little bit quicker than, I would say, Pulsar BPAC batteries or APS batteries. On a fully charged batteries, the device will work for approximately 4 to 5 hours. So it's not, you can still use it for your entire hunt. And the batteries are really light and small, so you can always pack additional batteries and have them in your pockets if you need them. The startup time is approximately 3 seconds, and the device also features a sleep mode. You just click for a short period of time and then the screen goes out, even though with this device it's not really necessary. It doesn't feature any video recording, it doesn't have any connecting capabilities, and you're not able to run StreamVision app on it. So it's more of an analog device in this respect, even though it's completely digital. What you get in the box, you get a bag for carrying, this charger unit, you get a manual. Manual is written in a couple of languages with all the specs and all the inputs how to use this device. What's also in it, in this manual, is if you need to zero it for the if it falls from to the ground or something, if you bump it in some way, you can always check your zero, and without sending it to service, you're able to reset the zero only once again, and then normally the point of impact of your rifle will not change when you put the device on your daytime scope. And the instruction how to do it, they're well written and it's not really hard. The warranty card, the warranty is 3 years, and the service is in Lithuania. This service is well known for being fast and really good service. So even if you run out of warranty after 2 years, you're still able to send it back to them, and they're always able to repair it. And I would say they're one of the best in this respect. What you also get is a remote, so that you're able to control all the functions on the device with a remote. Why is this important? Because this device, when it's mounted on a daytime rifle scope, it's really far in front of the shooter, so it's hard to reach to the buttons on top to do all the settings. It's easier sometimes with a remote. You also get a small 4x magnification monocular, which if you put it on the device, you're able to use it as a normal thermal imaging scope. So it's really easy to change. What it is true and what you need to be careful, you see this small magnet on the bayonet. You can do the zeroing of the device if needed only when this I would say middle part is on the device. You're not able to zero it with a monocular. This is a protection so that you're only able to zero the device when it's mounted on a daytime scope. So a general remarks regarding the device itself. You can see the focusing ring is here around the objective lens, 50mm objective lens. The only remark is that it's really well made and really robust. Maybe the point which is lacking is the LED indicator when the device is turned on, because it has an approximately 3 seconds of a startup time, like majority of all thermal optics. So it would be really nice, like it was in the old Quantums and on new Axions, that when you power the device on, there will be a small light somewhere which would show you the device is powered on. Let's go to the sensor. The sensor inside is a normal uncooled microbolometer, and it features a resolution of 384 by 288, 17 microns pixel size, and 50 Hertz of refresh rate. Standard, the same like it was in the previous second generation of Core. The NATD factor is around 60 millikelvins or below 60 millikelvins. So basically now an industry standard, even though now in 2020 there are slowly coming out devices with an NATD factor of their sensors of 40 microkelvins. Check our video for the Helion 2 series of thermal scopes. I talk about NAT there a little bit more. The display on the other side is AMOLED type, so where you look inside of the device with your daytime scope. The AMOLED display, it's a good choice because it works all the way down to -25, and the resolution of the display is 640 by 480. The resolution is a little bit low, so with this you see the device it's a little bit older in its design, since even if you look at the new forward devices made by Pulsar, their displays have a much higher resolution. The standard magnification when used as clip-on is 1x with this monocular it's 4x, and when the monocular is on it, the device knows when this clip-on bayonet is on it and when not with this magnet. So the device really knows how you're using it, either as a clip-on or as a monocular. When this part is when you're not having the device on your daytime optics and when you're using it with this small monocular, then you're able also to use 2x digital zoom. So you get 4.1 magnification as normal and 8.2 when the digital zoom is applied. The lens is 50mm and the aperture is 1.2. The field of view is roughly a little bit less than 10 meters per 100 meters. So we are talking about, I would say, in daytime rifle scopes, 4.5, 5 times magnification scopes have a similar field of view. It's okay for even for hunting on 25 meters. It's still wide enough field of view that it doesn't cause too much problems. The detection range with this sensor and this lens is 1,800 meters. More than enough than anything what you will ever need. And to be honest, regarding the accuracy, we made a bet with the previous generation of these devices with some of our partners, shop owners. If I'm able to hit a small can on 200 meters, and it is. So it is possible to hit also on 200 meters with this clip-on attached to your daytime scope. Normally, if it's well zeroed, if you know your rifle and so on. It's not easy, but it is achievable. The color modes there is only one, black and white color mode. And when you're using it with this monocular, the use with glasses, it's also quite easy, because this monocular is very similar in design to those used on Helions, and the eye relief is long enough so that even all of those out of us who need to wear glasses, we are still able to use it. And astonishingly, also this core performs really well when used as a thermal monocular, not only as a clip-on. Okay, which magnifications can be used when you're putting it on a daytime scope? I would say all the way up to 6, even though if you look at the manual, they will say 2 to 5. I'm almost sure that in the table, yeah, here, maximum recommended magnification of daytime device 5 times. We did have customers who put this device on 6x42 rifle scopes, fixed powered, and it still works. So optimally use it from 2 to 5 times magnification in your daytime scope, but even on 6 it will still work. You will see pixels because the display resolution is not that high, but still it's usable. Normally, not optimally, but still usable. The menu buttons, as you can see, are all on top. One for the power on, menu, and then left and right for up and down. Short press gives you the basic menu, that means brightness and contrast. Long press gives you all the identification modes and calibration modes and so on. The calibration, for those of you who are not well familiar with thermal optics, is the fact that every 30 seconds or something like that, the image freezes for approximately 1 second. At that time, the whole sensor gets refreshed because the pixels can get saturated. And if calibration is not done, then the contrast of your image and the quality of your image is fading with time. All thermal optics feature this disadvantage, I would say. Unfortunately, we are waiting for the time when this problem will be overcome. And you're able to set this device in 3 different modes. In automatic, where recalibration is done automatically every couple of, 30 seconds or something like that. Manually, when you do the calibration only when you wish, with a press of the button on the remote or on top, on buttons on top of the device, or semi-automatic. With clip-on devices, this is really important, because with normal scopes, which you use for observation, the calibration is not really that critical. But with this device, with a clip-on, the calibration can happen exactly in the moment when you're shooting. And then normally you will not be able to see where you're aiming because your image freezes. So when you use this device for shooting, it's better to have it in semi-automatic or manual mode, so that you know that the calibration will not start in the moment when you need to take a shot. Okay, let's go to the bayonet. The bayonet is the standard one on all previous Pulsars, on cores, to be honest, with 2 pins. Now the new forward units of Pulsar, they have 4 pins. So this is still the old bayonet. And you can buy with this device either this original adapter. This is the cover for the lens. And this adapter goes, you see these 2 pins, this goes like this together. And you get many different inserts with this adapter so that you're able to adapt the diameter to your scope. This is not meant to be manipulated often, so it's better to leave it on the scope, and then you just place the device on or off in this section, on this plane. It's a little bit robust, it's really affordable, only around 100 euros. It works. However, a lot of customers complain that they lost their inserts. So we have many calls that if they can get only the inserts. So there are some aftermarket choices also available. The prime one in Europe at the moment is Smart Clip. So it's a It's a much more expensive adapter, 200 euros. And it can be always put on and off the scope. It's also made that it leaves no marks on the scope. The second aftermarket manufacturer is Rusan. Rusan also, he's probably the biggest manufacturer of these adapters. They also produce this quick release adapters for all the scopes. And as you can probably see, all of these adapters, like from SmartClip and from Rusan, they're meant to be for one size only. But this gives them the advantage that there is no plastic insert that could be lost. And also they fit to the scope better and tighter. All in all, it goes all the way down to your personal preferences. All of those three adapters work, even though SmartClip and Rusan are a little bit more expensive and a little bit better made. Okay, I think we came to the end, and this goes, well, I have to do a short summary. First, some positives, and then some sour points or what could have been done better. So what is really positive is the robustness. This device is well tested, and there were so many of them made and put on the market that if there will be any flaws on the device or in the design of the device, it will be well known now. But still, it is the most popular and the most sold thermal clip-on, I would say, in the world, not only in Europe. The size and weight, normally all the devices could be a little bit smaller, this is always, but still compared to the competitors and similar devices also from analog night vision, it's quite compact and it's quite light, 400 grams, so it's really, really light. I would say the most important advantage of the third generation is the price, 3,000 euros. This was unimaginable a couple of years ago, because for 3,000 euros you're getting a thermal imaging clip-on device which has a range of detection of 1,800 meters and which is really well tested and it works great. Strong point is also the warranty, 3 years warranty and Pulsar service in Lithuania, because you know that even if your device, we are sending them devices which are 7-8 years old and they are still repairing them really well and returning them well repaired and well mended. So it's a carefree purchase. You know that you're covered, and that's very, very important. What is also important that in most cases no zeroing is needed. You just put the device on your scope, do a test shot, and you see, and I would say 6 times or 7 times out of 10 there is no zeroing needed. If the zeroing needed, it's quite easy to be done, and you do it only once and that's it. Now let's go to what could have been done better. We have to take into account that this is in design terms quite an old device. I would say it didn't change much since 2016, and this is 4 years, and in this category that's a long time. The batteries, everybody else uses the same batteries, so this is not a big flaw or a downside, but Pulsar has shown on other devices that they can do better, that they can do B-pack batteries, they can do APS batteries and so on. They figured out how to solve the problem with batteries in the devices which followed this device later. I'm talking about Forward F155, Forward F455, Trail, Thermion, Axion, Helion. All of these devices have battery solutions made by Pulsar, which are probably the best on the market. And this is something what this device is lacking a little bit because it's a little bit older in its design. The bayonet, it works well, even though the bayonet of the Forward F455 is even better. And myself personally, I prefer the bayonets which are made like a thread, like you see on, let's say, on Dedal or on Janke or on similar. I will show it like this. So a thread. It's much more accurate than with 4 pins or with 2 pins. So the bayonets with a thread, they're much more accurate. It is true that they're not so versatile like this one is. And then what could also be said is that Normally 640 by 480 sensors are also available around. Other devices have them, even though not in this category. So we're waiting for a Pulsar to present a clip-on device with this sensor resolution, and normally connectivity to stream vision application. This is something what all of their other devices have, and it's a really great bonus. Still, all in all, when you look at the price point, 3,150 euros, it's impossible to beat this device in the terms of value for money. Now in 2020, for 3,000 euros, you are able to get a really high quality, robust, durable thermal imaging clip-on. Last but not least, a lot of people are always asking what is the difference between FXQ50 and the FXQ50B. So we have a whole separate video about it on the second generation, of course, which is normal because the second and the third generation are almost the same, only the color of the display is different, but I will show it here also. So this is the 55 and this is the 50. They are completely the same devices. The only difference is that with the device FX50, you're able to take down this middle part and put on a really small compact monocular. So this is the difference. Each of these parts is paired with its own device, so you're not able to interchange this part between different cores. When you have it, they're also marked with serial numbers, so you really have to be careful. With the 55, you're not able to remove this part. So if you want to use the 55 as a monocular, as a normal scope, you need this much bigger and longer monocular, 5 by 30. And then you get a longer device, and this is the difference. So the FXQ50 is more compact and a little bit more versatile, while the FXQ55, I would say, is even more robust, because there is no moving in this section, and you're not able to remove this inner part. So I would say it's even more robust than the FXQ50. You go with an FXQ50 if you will use it a lot for observation, because it's shorter and more compact with this monocular. And you go with a 55 if you will use it mostly as a clip-on and you have other devices for observation. I would say this is the clear choice if you go for the 55 or if you go for the 50. Thank you for watching. Please check our other videos, especially the videos about all the differences between different models in the Core series, and normally subscribe.